and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We, of course, today on this Sunday are going to be reacting to everything that happened yesterday at San Mames. The good, of course, the bad as well. There are things definitely that we're going to take from this game and vastly improve as the season goes on. We're going to be talking individuals and also some thoughts on Ronald Koeman. It is all coming up, so let's get to it. Come on. Because look, guys, ultimately in yesterday's game, I don't feel as though we followed up our performance against Real Sociedad in the way that we wanted. We have said now, since we beat Sociedad on the opening day, we didn't really know what sort of consistency this team would have. We didn't know whether we'd see, brilliance week in or week out. We didn't really know what to expect. And I think in this game at San Mames, we fell down. I think ultimately here, Athletic came, they pressed really, really high. They put pressure on us. I think it was also the first time in quite a while, really, in a big game like this, where there was fans in the stadium for the opposition. And I actually think that Barca there sort of felt that a little bit. We did see a little bit of a retreat in our performance. We weren't as brave, we weren't as confident. And I think when you look at the stats, Athletic Club very much deserved the point. I would actually come away, just like I said there in the match review, honestly quite happy with the point. I think they had good chances in the game, particularly there in that first half. They hit the bar. We hit the woodwork too. We did have chances of our own. I don't think we were completely out of the game. And we're going to talk about it. We could have won it. But at the end of the day here, we will take what we can get, which is a point that later on in this season, when things get really tight at the top, we know this is a difficult game, and that point could be a point gained. Because ultimately, guys, with the way the game went, I actually want to show you here a bit of the momentum of the game and just illustrate really how long it took Barca to get any sort of hold on the game. Because as you can see here, this is a diagram that illustrates attacking momentum. Now, Athletic there are on the top in the green, Barca are on the bottom in the blue. And as you can see there, the higher the bar, the higher the momentum was and the pressure was from that team in that period of the game. And as you can see, right the way up until 65, 70 minutes there, Athletic were very much the team on top of the game, putting the pressure on. But in those latter stages, we had our chances. We did find a way eventually to get in the game, but it almost felt like too little too late. It was when Athletic maybe were starting to tire a little bit, and we couldn't take full advantage of that period. Because I think when you start looking at individuals, and especially when you're looking at what needs to improve from this team, I would start in goal. I think Neto's performance here, maybe not in terms of outright goalkeeping. I don't think he did anything wrong, in terms of Athletic's goal. There was nothing really that he could have done about that. There was other saves, in the game that I didn't really feel he was at fault for. But I think in terms of the distribution, in terms they're a team who are coming and pressing you really, really high, you need a goalkeeper there who's confident, who's comfortable with the ball at his feet. Now, usually Neto is okay, but he's not fantastic. And that is why Athletic here targeted him. And the problem was, I felt like Neto's negative energy, the fact there that he was showing nerves, the fact that he was giving balls away, that spread to the rest of the team. That especially spread to our defence. And that basically meant there that we couldn't play out, which meant that Athletic got the ball back very, very quickly. They were able to put that pressure on. And I think there, when we see Ter Stegen back in goal for us, somebody who is confident with the ball, who wouldn't really have buckled under that kind of pressure last night, that will be a massive positive in our team. And that is something quite clearly that we can easily improve when Ter Stegen's back. Then I think I would look out on the left-hand side, and in particular there, Jordi Alba was in charge, as he often is, of giving us that width on the left-hand side. He did again combine a few times with Memphis Depay, and I do have to say that Alba got into some really good positions, but the problem that I would have there with that performance is 7 crosses. He got into those areas 7 times, he put balls into the box. How many times did he find a target? None. He did not pick out a Barca player in 7 attempts, and that's not good enough. You need to find players inside the box there. We know now that without Messi, Jordi Alba is sort of looking around thinking, okay, this is new territory for me. I'm not really sure who to pick out. And I would also say as well, we've got to get more players in there. Braithwaite should have been in there every time. Griezmann we're going to come on to. And Alba there wasn't able to pick anyone out. And of course, that is a problem in your attack. But one of the positives that I would have there in that defensive area is Ronald Araújo. I thought he came off the bench and once again, he was outstanding. Not only did he score a brilliant overhead kick, and it really was a brilliant finish from him, but I think again, every single time that he seems to step onto the field, he's a great defender. I would say outright in terms of solely defensive ability, he's our best defender at the club. When it comes there to stopping goals, to making tackles, blocks, getting on the end of things, he is absolutely fantastic. And once again, he showed that in a very, very difficult stadium. And I think that's certainly the positive thing for him in terms of selection reaction would be right now. You've got Eric Garcia, who's going to be suspended after that red card. You've got Gerard Piqué, who of course went off injured. He could miss the next game against Getafe at least. So you are going to see Ronald Araújo definitely in the starting lineup there in our next game. And I think that will be a big positive for us, because every time he's there, he shows his quality. Into midfield, I do also have to give a very, very special shout out and huge credit to Frenkie de Jong, because I think actually he was by far and away our man of the match, the best Barcelona player on the field by far, because he did absolutely everything there. Again, in terms of getting about both boxes in the first half, he made a really key interception there, brilliant sliding block to save what could have been a certain goal from Iñaki Williams. I thought his energy was fantastic, he was picking up the ball, and he was one of the few players that when things were getting a bit hectic, when Athletic were putting that pressure on, he stayed nice and calm. He was able to manoeuvre his way out of that, and he could have easily had an assist, of course, in that second half there, playing in Memphis Depay. And speaking of Memphis, I do have to say, he looks so good in front of goal. Because honestly, right throughout the game, I didn't feel as though he was involved all that much. And that's one of the things about Memphis is he won't always be involved. He's not somebody who's going to be on the ball constantly in games. Quite often he will try and do his work without the ball. I also thought actually throughout the game that he made a lot of good runs. Sometimes he wasn't picked out. He was looking to go in behind. He was looking to sort of tail off the Athletic defence, but we didn't really find him. And hopefully again, in time, we will see those runs more often. But I think when he does get the ball, when you do play him in, he is somebody who can make a difference in this team. His goal was absolutely brilliant there. One thought in his mind. Fantastic finish past the goalkeeper from a really tight angle. And of course, like I say, he should have got another. It was a great chance there in front of goal. Memphis could have left this game as the match winner. That will all come. And for me, he is a massive positive. When you're looking at that front line, when you're looking at players there who can make the difference, who can be decisive, Memphis ticks all of those boxes. Having said that, though, about Memphis, we move on to Antoine Griezmann. And I've got to say, probably the most disappointing player for me on the night was Antoine Griezmann. And I don't want to sort of criticise him here and just sort of slate him and sort of knock his confidence and all of that kind of stuff, because it is just one game. I do hope that he bounces back from this. I do hope that he can give us a lot more in games to come. But on this particular occasion, he did nothing out there. He was absolutely not involved. He was a passenger. He ghosted through the game. And that's not good enough. Now we don't have Messi. Now we don't have somebody there who's going to be able to carry our forward line. You need everybody there. You can't afford to have Griezmann just strolling his way through games and not really getting involved. In the final few minutes, in the final 10 minutes or so, he started getting on the ball a little bit more in a central area. But I think for most of the first half there, he was out on the right-hand side. He was standing around. He wasn't really coming deep to get the ball to help us out. And I just think this can't happen. Griezmann himself, he spoke after the game. He said, we didn't play well. He said, I didn't play well. He knows he needs to do more. We need more from him, and we know that he can give it. So let's see that now, because we can't have this. Finally though, guys, what I really do want to talk about is Ronald Koeman, because I know many people after the game yesterday, of course, would have levelled their criticism at Ronald Koeman. They would have said, you know what, that wasn't good enough. It's a display there that certainly Barca need to try and win the game. For that reason, Koeman is going to come under some very early pressure. And I've got to say, the one big problem that I have with Koeman right now, and to be honest, I've had it since he arrived at Barca, I am still not convinced that he can have an impact on a game, that he can change a game from the touchline. Now, of course, it's over to the players. They're the ones who are playing the game. They're the ones who are out there. He's relying on them to sort of convey his ideas. But I just don't ever feel as though he can do something to impact our performance positively. Because I would look there at half-time. Barca had a really difficult first half. We were struggling through the game. Were we going to be able to change something? Were we going to be able to alter the dynamic of the game in that second half, to come out and suddenly turn the tables on Athletic? But you look at the second half, the way that we started, it was exactly the same. It was like you went in there for 15 minutes, Ronald Koeman talked to the players, they came back out, and we were just doing the same stuff. We were making the same mistakes, and nothing had really changed. And I'm just looking here at Ronald Koeman saying, go on, do something positive. Make an impact. Make a positive change there to really help our team and help us through a difficult encounter like this. And I think when we can really judge Koeman, and when the pressure is going to be on him fully, is when players are back like Ansu Fati, when he's got Sergio Aguero that he can bring off the bench, when he's got Coutinho there even, Ousmane Dembele further down the line, when he's got all of those options at his disposal to come off the bench, make an impact on the game, then for me, there's no excuses. Yesterday, maybe he'll look at the options he had and he'll say maybe there wasn't really anything that I could do from the touchline, but as the season goes on, you will not be able to make that excuse, and we will want to see positive change and impactful subs from the bench. So indeed, guys, those right there are just some of my thoughts after the game last night. Of course, it was quite a disappointing one. I think, honestly, I was hoping that we could follow up on that win against Real Sociedad and hopefully get back-to-back wins. We knew it was a difficult game. I don't think it would be very right of us, and I don't think it would be honest of us to say, you know what, we should have won that game easily, because Athletic are a good side. You know they raised their level against the big teams. They've done that for many, many years in La Liga, and I'm sure that Atletico, I'm sure that Real Madrid will have problems here when they come to San Mames. We've got a point. We need to move on now to Getafe. We've got to win that game. No question about that there. Before the international break, we have to win against Getafe. And of course, guys, closer to the time next weekend, all of that build-up will be coming your way. And we do have a big final few days coming up too in the transfer window. Please let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you make of last night's display? What needs to improve? Who didn't do well enough for you? And can you find any positives from the display? That's my challenge for you. Find some positives. See if you can. Thank you indeed, though, for watching as always, guys. I'll be seeing you very, very soon. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.